Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Who's ready? Judd's Camp Notes. For some live Judd's Camp Notes. Who's ready?
I certainly am.
Okay.
I certainly am. I was on the perch yesterday, above the fields. Perfect place to watch the practice from. Furiously taking notes, jotting down, much to the chagrin of former star J.J. Watt, jotting down statistics.
J.J. Watt went on a big Twitter rant saying these people who track statistics in training camp, you have no idea what these guys, and he's right, by the way. Like, we're still going to track them because it's awesome. 9 of 12, by the way, for J.J. McCarthy 2 days ago.
Well, it depends on what you're tracking, though, right? Like, if you're trying to track, like, all I'm doing, and quite frankly, it's coming off favorable to J.J., all I'm doing is seeing, does the ball hit the ground?
Yeah, and what J.J. Watt is saying is, okay, that's great, but it's possible that the defense has been told, like the linemen have been told, today we're only doing bull rushes because we're trying to work on bull rushes. Or the quarterback, instead of going through the reads like you would in a normal game, we're looking for this particular, we want to see the ball out of your hand with this route concept on this play.
Absolutely.
So you're getting to your second progression here. And that's what J.J. Watt's saying. The sports dad's saying, I don't care.
Well, no,
that's fine.
No,
we're
the
going to
sports
track
dad's
statistics.
saying, JJ. You are, I know that you like your teams, and yes, that's all true. But no matter what you are working on, I got a question for you, Mr. Watt. Do you want the ball on the ground? Because if you don't want the ball on the ground, and I certainly don't want the ball on the ground, then I'm tracking that. Because I'm not trying to track yards. I have no idea. I can't do it. It's too quick. But I do believe, and again, it's coming off like that. That's the double-edged sword of, I don't like people tracking statistics at training camp. The double-edged sword is, what if it's looking good? Like, I would say this. If I was going to harp on Sam Howell, I could see why guys wouldn't like that, right? Because it's not terrible, but it's not pretty.
You're being kind of a bully.
But right, exactly. Everybody always likes things that are favorable to them. But yeah, it's fine. I'm tracking, I'm observing, and it's not going to stop.
Little Iggy wants to know, and we will, if we have some time, this is going to be a Judd's Camp Notes edition here of Purple Daily. Click that like button, the subscribe button, if you haven't already. Maybe you're just stumbling into this show. It's a 365-day a year. Yes, even in the dead of the offseason, Vikings podcast. Little Iggy wants to know, any tips on how to get my first girlfriend? How about a date to Quick Trip?
There you go.
Right next to the practice facility. You guys go to Quick Trip, then go watch some Vikings practice.
This is
hanging on Quick Trips.
Exactly right. This is such a great idea. Yes, exactly right. Why Quick Trip? It's very simple. Little Iggy, here's the thing. If you go to Quick Trip, she's going to say, man, this guy has good taste when it comes to going to places where, you know what, they're fast, efficient, they're friendly. They have everything that you could possibly want. And also gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb now through August 17th. Play each day for free in the Quick Rewards app and score bonus plays with every eligible item that you grab. We're talking Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Gatorade, Propel, Sparkling Bubbler. Grab one of those with hot food and earn 2 bonus plays every week. Someone's cashing in. How much? Each week the prize is climbing by $5,000. The one player reaches the top will win $250,000 cash. Open your Quick Rewards app. Get climbing for a chance to win with Quick Trip and Mountain Dew. No purchase necessary. See full rules at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
Judd's Camp Notes.
Come on. Football.
The floor is yours. Take us on a journey here.
Czar saying Judd is perky this morning.
How many cups of coffee? How many Diet Cokes?
Ooh, no Diet Cokes. Second cup of coffee.
Okay. Oh.
But it's also training camp. Like, I'm alive.
Oh.
Like, this is it. All right. So, a big helping. I'm alive. I'm feeling good. I'm a man.
This is it.
I think me and Mackie could just mute our mics and Judd could go. Judd could go for the entire hour.
Yeah, well, probably every show. You don't need us.
That's not true. That's not true at all. I love you guys. Okay, so let's start with some of the news and notes and then get into a heavy dose of quarterback, okay? Interesting development yesterday. In fact, a smiling Phil Mackey gleamingly on Wednesday looking at Josh Metellus as Josh said, hold in. How would I stage a hold in when I'm a team captain and I'm very important? And he's not wrong. And I like Josh. So this is not to dump on Josh. It's not to dump on the Vikings.
But
yesterday the Vikings come out and I guess try to get in front of things by telling the reporters that Josh Metellus has an ankle issue that he injured in Wednesday's practice. Now, Phil, tell me if you recall him going to the ground and writhing around grabbing his ankle.
He was I don't know. He didn't look like he was limping or anything to me. Yeah.
And so he sat out the entire practice, which to me is a hold-in. Now, the Vikings can't get upset by being called on this because 2 years ago, you guys will recall TJ Hawkinson started off with an inner ear problem and a contract that he was trying to get done or wanted done. And then I think they got embarrassed and changed it to a back problem because that was far more plausible than a ear.
The ear infection, it was like going on 3 weeks that he was out.
There you go.
And I kind of, I poke fun at it because this was 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
Pretty sure it was 2 years ago.
Yep.
And the karma gods struck me with an ear infection or something similar, like some TMJ or something, right after training camp was over. And I'll tell you, if for me personally, 2 years ago, if I would have had to put a helmet on and take a helmet off, it would have been excruciatingly painful.
Right.
So I'm not going to poke at Josh Metellus for a perceived hold-in injury here, because I don't want the karma gods to give me an ankle problem in like 3 weeks.
When you got past your ear problem, were you immediately hit with a back problem?
Well, I have had some ongoing lower back issues, Judd, in my
Okay,
30s.
then you
If
and
you want to
TJ
hear more
Hawkinson
about
should
those,
talk.
I'd love to.
You and TJ Hawkinson. Okay, that note one is Josh Metellus did not practice. That obviously, from a safety perspective, opened up a lot of room for Theo Jackson then to become the safety alongside Harrison Smith. Justin Jefferson participated in part of practice, and then he was done. And it's like, is this a veteran day? Well, hold on a second. This is the first day outside. It's not a veteran day. And so he did do a post-practice press conference in which he said tightness in his legs. If you recall, a couple of years ago, again, he went through, the hamstring problem and missed significant time. And he basically said, nothing's wrong, but we're being safe. It was hot out. I mean, it was probably cramping. I'm guessing he practices today, hopefully.
Did you say leg or legs?
He said, oh, okay, so here's how it went.
Uh-oh.
So he's getting asked all of the typical questions by the TV folks, right, about JJ, and they're fine. But it's like, dude didn't practice for part of practice. What's going on? So finally, Seifert and I were the two that were like, okay, we got to find out what's going on here because he didn't practice for a large portion of it. And I said to him, you didn't take part in the whole thing. What happened or what? And he said, I had some tightness. And then he went through it and said, we're, concerned about what happened a couple of years ago, blah, blah, blah. And I clarified. So I did exactly what you just said. I said, is it your leg? And he said, no, it's my legs. It's tightness in my legs.
Okay, so we have bilateral leg tightness for the best receiver in the NFL on the second day of training camp.
If that's what you're going to do on Judd's camp notes,
boy, things are going great the first 2 days at Vikings practice.
Well, actually,
JJ McCarthy is sailing passes to media members. Justin Jefferson has bilateral leg tightness. I'm out. I'm out on the 2025.
And for those reasons, I'm out.
Yeah.
All I can do is tell you what I can bring you Judd's camp notes. I am not concerned yet, and I like to think of myself as the most concerned person on this show. All right, let's get to it. JJ McCarthy's day. All right, we again have broken down team drills and 7-on-7 drills. Let's start with team because that's more important. McCarthy and team was 10 of 12. He went against the first team defense twice and the second team defense 3 times in 11-on-11. He is now in team drills 19 for 24 in 2 days. Not too bad, huh? The highlight of the day, and this is partially because Jefferson missed significant time, so other guys mixed in, obviously. But the highlight of the day was probably the budding football romance that we're seeing between one J.J. McCarthy and Jordan Addison. In team drills, 3 catches, 2 against the first team. And not to spoil it, but then in 7-on-7, Jordan Addison caught a couple more balls as well. So these guys have a connection. which is more than I can say right now for Piers Jefferson. Jefferson and McCarthy, we started off again in team, Phil. In fact, this time was the second pass. On Wednesday, it was the first pass, with a clear miscommunication between those two. It was almost a carbon copy, different sideline, but a ball for Jefferson hit the ground. It looked like Jefferson had run the wrong route. They then, the two of them and O'Connell then quickly retreated to that replay screen, those huge replay screens, to watch it and go through it. I don't think it's a problem. But Jordan Addison and McCarthy early in camp here, 2 days in, some very nice chemistry between those two, which is not a surprise when you think about this too. Jordan Addison's build and style of play, I think, is very much built for how McCarthy throws the football.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, is there any reason why, I know that like the league perception would not agree with this right now, but is it unfair to put Jordan Addison in the T. Higgins conversation? So T. Higgins is a few years older. He's been in the league now for 3 more years than Addison. Got the new contract. Everything's great for him in Cincinnati. Playing as the clear number 2 receiver behind Jamar Chase. But you wonder if T. Higgins had gone somewhere else as the number 1, probably puts up even bigger numbers, just like Jordan Addison. You think if that dude were to go somewhere else where Justin Jefferson isn't getting targeted, 150 times a year. And just out of curiosity, I looked up their age 21 and 22 seasons. So their first 2 years in the league, and compared them. And there was like both guys missed a couple games with injuries, because Addison missed 2 games last year. T. Higgins missed 2 or 3 games his rookie year. So per 17 games, age 21, 22, T. Higgins, 80 catches, 1,100 yards. Jordan Addison, 71 catches for almost 1,000 yards. So like both guys are 1,000-yard receivers essentially per 17 games, as the number 2 behind the 2 best number 1 wide receivers in the NFL. So I view him as a less of a number 2, more of like a 1B, circumstantial. So not shocking that he would have explosive chemistry with J.J. McCarthy. Something to keep watching. He's going to get suspended probably, but other than that.
That's also a thing. He's also been I saw it in the comments too, he has been a touchdown machine. So he's been able to kind of be a home run hitter for them and find 6 points. So yeah, it's a great duo. I am curious the long term, can you still pay him and keep him around? Because I feel like we've kind of been at the camp of, hey, with wide receivers, coming in and out of the draft so often, do you want to pay 2 wide receivers some stud money? The Bengals have they've made that decision. So do you want to continue down that road as well, with Addison also being here for the long haul and tying up a big chunk of your salary cap to 2 wide receivers and also a tight end and T.J. Hockenson, who's also making some of the most money in his position?
Yeah, I don't know if you know what? I'm curious how long, and I do think he'll have a very good season, productive season. I'm curious how long Hockenson will be here, actually. The Addison thing to me also comes down to this. Does he now keep his nose clean? Like, he's got 1 more strike, and then it's like, we can't, as good as you are, we can't trust you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things with Jordan that are moving parts right now, and he's still in that sweet spot of, if he gets 1 more strike in his rookie contract, I'm probably out, unfortunately.
It's like Hawkinson's pretty young still. He's coming to the end of the guaranteed money in his contract. Right. I think next year, I don't know that he has guaranteed money left on his, that's how it usually works, is you sign like a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal, but there's only 2 years of guarantees or 3 years of guarantees or something. So do I think that Hockenson and Addison are both going to be around on big contracts in 2 or 3 years? No. Addison's younger. So I think if you were to sign, I think if we all had to vote now based on our conversations, it kind of feels like they might try to spin him for like a 2nd-round pick at some point, like next year or whatever. But I could see a world where they give him a contract, have the 2 awesome weapons, and then draft a tight end in the 1st or 2nd round.
Sure.
And get younger and less expensive at that position. Because you probably can't field a great overall team if you're super expensive at 2 wide receiver spots and a tight end spot, and then like a left tackle and all the other things that they're paying for too.
Exactly. All right.
We want more camp notes.
Football.
Look at that chemistry. Right on the same page. I'm just going to put you again, team drills, JJ McCarthy, but this obviously extends outside of McCarthy. I'm just going to put you again on day 2 of Jordan Mason can catch the ball watch. 2 more catches. And here's the thing when I watch him catch. I don't see any oh man, like with Peterson. It was sort of like a grenade was being thrown. And he was catching the grenade and you're like, don't drop the grenade, Adrian, the pin's out. In the case of Mason, I don't think he was used. I just think there was an assumption he couldn't catch, or we don't care if he can catch. He could catch the ball, and with his physical build, and Phil saw those tree trunks for legs. With his build, if he gets the ball with any momentum, he's gonna be a load to bring down. So I'm just putting you on day 2 of. Don't be surprised if this was more of an underutilized skill than it was a he can't do it skill.
Okay. I saw him catch 2 passes. I'll be out there again with you today, so we can both put our eyes on it. But the first day of practice, I saw him catch 2 of them. They're both little swing passes out to the right.
Right, that's what he's catching.
Oh,
But
that's
smooth
the to me.
And that's sort of the screen game. Again, this is the thing. That's the screen game that the Vikings, much to Dex's chagrin for 2 years now, and he's right, haven't utilized.
Yeah, and if he, based on some of the metrics and the underlying analytics of Jordan Mason as a ball carrier, there's a lot of really good signs with his rush yards over expected, his breaking of tackles, yards after contact, all that stuff. And you can apply a lot of that stuff to catching passes in screens or swing passes or just as an outlet, leaking out. If if your primary job on a passing play might be pass pro, nobody comes, you leak out. There's ways to get him the football. It's just weird that in college and with the 49ers over 7 or 8 years, multiple different coaching staffs, multiple different quarterbacks decided not going to throw him the ball. I don't know.
Except in college, as Thor told us on Thursday, it turned out that he was in Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that he was in a system that didn't throw the ball. So that might be it, and that might be where the assumptions began. I would welcome when he catches the ball. It is a little bit especially in the screen game, it reminds me of, it's very West Coast. It's very West Coast, and I love some of the elements of the West Coast offense. To me, are just
chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Delish. Yeah.
Delish.
Got any more camp notes, Judd?
Come on. Football.
All right, so now you're saying, well, who caught the rest of the passes from JJ McCarthy? And I'm going to tell you, in team drills, not surprising, TJ Hawkinson caught one. Now, the rest of the list, though, is interesting, and I think it was a byproduct of Jefferson being out for a good portion of practice. So, first team catches. Ty Felton, Tim Jones, who they signed as a special teams guy more so from Jacksonville, Jalen Naylor. And Jalen's going to get a ton of run here. He's getting a ton of run. Ty Felton intrigues me. Tim Jones, I think, is a jag, and I do think he'll be an important part of the special teams. But Ty Felton intrigues me, and Naylor, I'm not guaranteeing it, but it looks like he is worked his butt off to give himself a really good chance. And being in a contract year, it makes sense. But it was nice to see, as long as Justin's okay, it was nice to see other guys mixing in with the first team to get their opportunity as well.
Okay. And so this was all just McCarthy's passes, right?
These are all just McCarthy's passes. Yeah.
Okay.
We are laser focused, much to the chagrin of some folks, on JJ McCarthy, who had a good day, had a fine day.
There's someone in here has been asking about, here we go. This is from Jake. Can you guys get football-y football and talk about McCarthy's mechanics? He's still kicking out his left leg when throwing, from what Jake has seen.
Well, I'll try and watch for that today, and if it's the case, I will ask O'Connell, because I certainly cannot. I'm not a quarterback's coach.
Yeah, I mean, you could just
I'm more of a GM type. I build rosters, but I trust the coaches to coach them up.
Yeah. He looks, I don't know, in the throws that I saw the first day of practice, everything looks pretty precise for the most part. There's some different things where maybe the defensive coverages where a pass gets batted. But in terms of the throw that sailed into my left arm, according to you, and I didn't I was blocked by Kwesi, but that was a throwaway. That wasn't like an inaccurate throw going to it. And it's the throws to his left, right, that were kind of in question coming out of college.
Yes, the throws to the left sideline. Yeah, the throw to you was a throwaway. In fact, this dovetails in perfectly. So I've got a couple of, I don't know if they're bad things. One's bad, one is just an observation, all right? But it's it syncs up perfectly here. So he made a back shoulder throw, McCarthy did in team drills, down the right sideline to Rondale Moore. Now, the good news is Isaiah Rodgers at the last second, like sort of turned around and batted it down. Like he was stride for stride with Moore, and it looked like the pass was going to be caught by Moore. And Isaiah Rodgers, last moment, gets his hand up, turns around, bats it down. Hell of a play. Like that's the type of play that clearly floors a scene. And that's good news for a guy who we don't know exactly if he should or could start. And Brian Flores is like, no, he'll be fine. But that again was one of those throws, man, where it's that you got to have that touch a little bit too. And now I would give Rodgers in this credit more credit than I would a demerit to McCarthy. But this is where the mechanics get involved. And there's two things that come to mind on McCarthy. The one is, we've talked about this a lot, the touch on the layered throws that you can't just zip in there. So sideline pass, can I get the ball? And these are the type of balls. See, I wonder if the miscommunication with Jefferson on the two passes, Phil, that we're talking about the past 2 days have had something to do with that, because those are very much, so air. They've got some air underneath them, and then ideally Jefferson catches them in stride. And the other thing, and I saw that Albert Breer of SI, who was at the practice on Wednesday and got some inside access, wrote about this, and it's true, that they are working with McCarthy on the touch on his fastball. Mm-hmm. Because he does tend to, and he did this yesterday, in fact, I'll bring this up now. In 7-on-7, there was a pass that he tried to get through to Lucky Jackson, who was playing with the first team. But Lucky is probably not going to make the roster, and so he's not going to catch the ball. Well, he tipped the ball right to Harrison Smith, who picked off the ball. Now, is that a McCarthy? Yeah. Is that all McCarthy's fault? No, but there's a couple of things there. One, the confidence that he could get the ball there was flawed. But two, I think that's where they're trying to work on the precision. I think sometimes JJ goes with the fastball instead of the placement.
Well, I would rather have that as a problem, quote unquote, to have to just temper that a little bit.
Yep.
Than a guy that doesn't have a fastball and isn't willing to make throws into tight windows. So I'm fine with this being a problem to iron out. But velocity plus over the middle equals potential disaster, because if you throw a ball into a tight window at high velocity and the receiver gets a hand on it and it pops up in the air, it's an interception. So that kind of just, the snippets of practice, that kind of feels like the most likely type of interception that he would be prone to throw, right? The fastball that either the receiver can't handle or it's a little off target, and based on the nature of some of these route concepts, ball pops in the air into the arms of a defender.
100%. And you cannot teach velocity. You can work on touch and technique. So I'm with you. I just think it's going to be an early thing, and it makes sense that they're trying to iron out. One, you're not necessarily in this league going to be able to zip the ball through guys, but two is those. It's funny when those passes in the middle of the field, intermediate routes are thrown well. It looks pretty simple, right? Like a great play, but it looks pretty simple. But the reality is where that ball is. That ball can't be on the receiver. It has to be in front of the receiver, who then is good enough to then be there at the right time. And it looks like perfect placement, but it actually took a lot of faith. That's where I think there's work to be done. And as I talked about on Judd's Camp Notes Thursday, there's going to be some mistakes. Like, don't expect perfection from day. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you. Mm-hmm. There's going to be mistakes, and they're trying to. And in day 2 of training camp, you know what? Awesome. Make them. But I think this is going to be, that part of it's going to be a work in progress. But McCarthy, the good news is, as you just said, he's got things you can't teach.
Real quick, when Jefferson said that yesterday about, like, he's basically a rookie and you're not going to get perfection, all that stuff. Was that a referendum on McCarthy not playing particularly well in the first 2 practices, or was it more a general observation of like,
General observation.
hey, okay.
General observation. Justin.
Because some people were taking it a different way shockingly on social media.
No. Justin, look, you know what, too? And one, I thought that was a very fair statement. Like, Justin, that's a very mature, fair thing, and he's 100% right. But the other thing with Justin, too, is for as competitive and as good as Justin is, he is a very live and let live guy. Like he said yesterday, too. He said he was asked about the quarterback carousel here during his time. And his comment was, yeah, I thought Kirk was going to be my guy forever, for a long, long time. And he wasn't. Now, that used to be, oh, my God, if Kirk leaves, is Justin leaving too?
Oh, no.
That's not Justin. He's not wired like that. He'll play with you. Now, if you stink, I think he gets upset. But the reality is, no, that was we have to be patient. And Justin is. There will come a point in time where I think the expectations raise, but do not take that as anything to do with what he has seen. But as far as 2 balls falling to the turf that were intended for Justin, no matter whose fault that was, that is the work in progress part of things.
Mm-hmm. Yep, these are all things, usually, too, especially when you have a defense that's been largely together, now going into the 3rd year of a scheme, and it's a really good defense and a really good scheme. The offense is going to be behind the defense. Just like baseball spring training. Pitchers are coming in, and they are dictating the action. They're throwing the ball, working up 95 miles an hour, whatever. And hitters took some BP in the offseason, but it's going to take a couple weeks to be able to time up the different speeds and stuff. Offense is timing, and these guys haven't played together a ton. Defense is aggression and coming at you and tricking you and twists
B-flow.
and blitzes.
B-flow's doing all of those things on day one, baby.
100%. Yep. Judd's camp notes.
Come on! Football!
All right, the one real probably negative J.J. McCarthy thing of the entire day in team drills is we did have a ball on the ground. Ball can't be on the ground.
A fumble?
Snap problem. Ryan Kelly snaps to McCarthy. Now they're not in pads yet, and once they are in pads, JJ will still have a red jersey on, so he can't be hit. But pursuit of the ball basically not going to happen. And so McCarthy picked the ball up and ran, and it was all fine. But that's the type of thing, veteran center who's new here, quarterback who's young. That's the type of thing. My guess is of all of the things that O'Connell saw in practice, that probably, that's something that you just can't have. Yeah. So ball on the ground, I wouldn't panic about it, but just in trying to watch for the little things that make a difference, the timing between McCarthy and Jefferson will come, and I'm not concerned about that. But the most important thing is the synchronicity and timing between the center and the quarterback.
Is this a SWAS related ball on the ground?
Oh,
is this like Garrett Bradbury? Famously, Kirk Cousins had to put 16 towels back there during training camp.
Jesus, his back is lined up with towels.
Yeah, it was.
It's a good question. I don't know if it was.
Who's going to Who's going to ask Ryan Kelly after one of these practices?
Not
Listen,
me.
what's your sweat situation back there, bud? Little hyperhidrosis, or
I'm not asking anything of Ryan Kelly like that. I like being alive.
Judd's camp notes.
Come on! Football!
All right. 7-on-7, McCarthy, 7 for 8. 3 more completions to Jordan Addison, as I said. His only miss was the ball that was tipped for the pick by Harrison Smith. 9 for 12 now, and he should be in this case. 9 for 12 in 7-on-7 in 2 days. The 7-on-7 more of a passing camp thing, so there's no lines, obviously, and things like that. That's where I'm just essentially tracking to see, does the ball hit the ground? And for the most part, 9 for 12 is pretty good. So I would say through 2 days, and look, I'm breaking this down because the interest in this kid is huge, including by me. So it's all to be taken with a grain of salt because it is a process. But that being said, I would say through 2 days, there's been nothing where it's been like, oh no. It's been pretty damn positive.
And sometimes with quarterback, there's the physical play on the field that you got to check some boxes, even in training camp practices. I agree. Like, if the ball's hitting the ground constantly, if there's timing issues, if there's errant passes and stuff, And not that these numbers, I'm with JJ Watt. Like, these numbers aren't gospel. But if you were to sit here and say,
Absolutely.
He was 4 for 12 in team, and in the 7-on-7 where there is no pass rush, he was 4 for 8. I'd be like, ugh, okay.
Right. And we've seen that.
Oh yeah,
like this is the thing about trying to track things is we've seen that practice
a lot over the years. Not as much with, I mean, even with Kirk facing Flores, a veteran Kirk Cousins facing the Flores defense in practice.
Mankato, though. Dirted
Tavares
balls.
Jackson, those guys, 100%. But I think demeanor, there's just as much to learn about the way J.J. McCarthy commands the line of scrimmage, commands the huddle, interacts with teammates. There's a quarterback nature to the way that you need to handle that side of the business. You can't be a beta personality who's a little bit of a deer in the headlights. And he is, from my observation, he's very much mature beyond his years as just a dictator, a communicator, a connector, etc.
Yes. Yeah. And he is, that's continued to watch. And he should have more of a presence than Howell or Brett Rippon or Max Brosmer. But the amount of presence that McCarthy has is impressive. And it is fun to watch if people go to practice eventually, to watch O'Connell and how close of attention he pays to McCarthy and how much they'll go watch that screen after plays to see, what went right, what went wrong. So it's one of the most interesting processes, I think, as far as with a young player I've covered. Because, if it's a running back, I mean, Adrian Peterson arrived and it's not like, okay, kid, here's what you need to do. He just goes out and he's AP. But this is an actual progression here. And plus, it's really the first coach in a long time from a Vikings head coaching perspective that knows exactly what he's doing with one position. So like just the whole, if you go to practice and you watch McCarthy and you watch O'Connell consult or pay attention, this is really the development. And it might work, it might not work, but no matter what happens, it is so intriguing because this is really the first time that O'Connell is going to be tied to a quarterback with the Vikings, who the perception or the expectation is he's going to be here a long time. So it's not like Sam Darnold was great, but he's gone now.
Well, a new quarterback, 60% of a new offensive line, new running back. You could argue the Vikings have remodeled a big chunk of their offense, just like Minnesota Rusco is helping you, the Purple Daily listener and viewer, remodel parts of your home. Minnesota Rusco has been Minnesota's hometown remodeler since 1955. 70 years of experience. And we're just a few weeks away from the Minnesota State Fair, which Purple Daily and other Score North shows will be live from the Minnesota State Fair starting on August 21st. So it's State Fair season, if you will, and the Minnesota Rusco State Fair sale is here. Their biggest savings of the entire year. You'll pay nothing for 2 full years on all bathroom remodels, kitchens, windows, siding, roofing, decks, doors. No down payment, no monthly payments, no interest for 24 months and totally free labor as well. So if you've been thinking about that project, that bathroom, the kitchen, whatever it may be, now might be the time to do that. Minnesota Rusco, make that remodel a reality at minnesotarusco.com, serving Minnesotans since 1955. So, Judd, you saw that MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning van on your way. You saw it.
494 going the other way, baby.
It's Sports Dad! Hey!
Stop!
I love you so much!
Stop! MSP, you're great!
Come back to my house!
You're fantastic. Why? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the most important thing that you can do these days is beat this oppressive heat, the humidity, and your air conditioning doesn't have to be on the fritz for it to be a problem. Let's just say it's not operating at full capacity, and you're saying, you know what? Our house could be more comfortable for me and my family. Well, then MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air is going to take care of that. In fact, for $49, they'll do an AC tune-up. That is a no-brainer for the peace of mind that you're going to get. We're talking about repairs, installs, reliable service. Sports Dad knows because he's used them. He's also joined their Total Comfort Club, which gets you year-long peace of mind. That might be plumbing, that might be heating, that might be air, but you are going to be happy with the results. Call them 651-615-4292 or check out their website, callmsp.com. Callmsp.com. Can you guys throw up a comment I just saw from Susan Moon about Addison and I had said something about his body type. Okay, so she says, why do you say, Judd, that Addison's build and style is suited for McCarthy's game? That's a great question. And actually, Jefferson, post-practice yesterday, in a roundabout way, touched on this thing. He was talking about the differences and like the receivers. And he flat out said, I can do things that Jordan can't do, but Jordan can do things I can't do. Because when you look at how they're built, they're built very different. I would call Jefferson tall and sleek. I would say Jordan he has a lower center of gravity. How's that? Because he's in great shape. So, but I think he has a lower center of gravity. And I think the difference is, and just to be clear before I say this, I'm not saying Justin Jefferson's not going to have a very good season, okay? So this is not hating on Justin Jefferson. But I do think the immediate connection is that if you look at how McCarthy throws the football and what he likes to do on those like quick outs, quick routes, right? And Addison's ability to cut and to make plays, I think right now probably sync up a little bit more with McCarthy. Because if you think about Justin, what's he doing? Downfield, also intermediate routes, which he's marvelous at, over the middle, let's say 15 yards. And I think eventually that's going to be huge for JJ and JJ. But Addison, if you look at that, right 5 yard out, turn around, bang. And he can break some tackles. So this is not to bag on Justin Jefferson at all, but I thought it was interesting that Jefferson even brought up the difference in the two. And I think that speaks to why Jordan Addison right now might be doing a little bit more, not to mention the fact Jefferson missed part of practice. But Jordan looked great on Thursday. And I guess what I'm trying to do is point that out as a positive more than any negative about Justin Jefferson.
So you think they might trade Jefferson and elevate Jordan?
I know where
Addison
this is going to end up.
Right?
I know where this is going to get. I know how this is going to end up.
That's all I heard. Got any more camp notes, Judd?
Oh, goodness gracious, I do. Will Fries and Christian Darrisaw, again, with a brace. Actually, Fries has a brace as well. It's like a sleeve brace. Darrisaw had a sleeve brace a little bigger. I think it was bigger than the one I saw on Wednesday. But anyway, long story short, they continue to take part in individual drills, not in team drills yet. From what O'Connell has said, I think we'll see Fries in team drills. I don't know if we'll see him in team drills on Monday, the first day of full pads, considering the circumstances. But I think we'll see Fries at some point in time start to be with the first team in team drills, I should say, at left guard. So I think or at right guard. I think we'll see that one first, followed by Darrisaw at some point in time, and also on defense. Jeff Okudah continues to be. So I think that this is what they're going to do, at least at first. Jeff Okudah is your outside corner in the nickel when Byron Murphy goes inside. So that's the way it has been. Mekhi Blackmon is very much with the second team, and it's not changing through 2 days. It doesn't mean it won't change. It doesn't mean it can't change. But what we saw in the offseason camps has carried over. And I don't know if this is Mekhi Blackmon missed a year, and Okudah's been hurt a lot too, and we've talked about his drawbacks. But Jeff Okudah right now, it's Isaiah Rodgers outside in the nickel, Okudah outside in the nickel, Byron Murphy Jr. inside.
I will say they do this sometimes in the pecking order of training camp battles where whoever has the seniority, if it's kind of coin flippy, or even if it's like 60-40, we're probably going to go with the young guy at some point. Mm-hmm. They'll put the veteran in that spot a rung above the young guy, and then over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks of training camp. So in this case, Okudah has more league seniority and experience than Blackmon, and Blackmon's coming off an injury. So even if they think Blackmon is going to win that job as the third cornerback in a month from now, it does make sense to start Okudah in that slot, make Blackmon jump him, versus throwing Blackmon in. Doesn't look great. Now it's weird when you elevate Okudah into that spot, and then you go back to. So I think giving Okudah a chance to potentially win the job or lose the job himself, and then if Blackmon outplays him, it's an easy swap in practice in like 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, and in Okudah's case too, I think it's a typical Vikings. This guy in 2020 was the third pick in the entire draft. So Let's see here. Yep. Like have other teams failed him? and he's been hurt. So,
Yeah.
but yes. Who was the guy a couple of years ago when camp started? There was an outside corner from the Patriots that they had signed.
Jones.
I forget his name, but anyway, same thing.
Tall guy.
Same thing. Yeah, tall guy, but he was the top guy for like 2 weeks or something, and then I think he was cut eventually. So, I see a request for the QB2 battle, so let's get to it. MN
Judd's
Fight
Camp
Fan.
Notes.
6'9".
That's right.
All right, Sam Howell yesterday, 4 for 4 in team drills. That's good. Now he was sacked twice. We got some indecision problems.
That's the thing.
In actuality, if I'm only pinning sacks on when guys don't get a pass off. Like McCarthy was probably sacked at least once himself. He got passes off though, and I'm not going to penalize. Like if you get the pass off, but there were two times, including one that a guy fell and like went into Howell's leg. It's like, you guys got to be careful here. Let's not have that happen. Completions by Sam went to Lucky Jackson, Thayer Thomas, Xavier Scott, and Xavier Scott again. Xavier Scott, one of the running backs vying for a job in 7-on-7. Howell 3 of 4. Completions to Ty Chandler, Rondale Moore, and Tim Jones. Brett Rippon 4 of 5 in team. I honestly, you guys, right now, I don't know, and it's 2 days in. I don't know there's a competition for the backup. I think it's Howell or somebody else. I don't.
So Rippon is QB3 no matter what,
and Max
then
is a practice squad guy.
practical guy. So okay.
Like I've debated this and talked about it. I've debated would they allow Brett a chance, but I don't see it. And if you add up the team drills and the 7-on-7 drills, Sam Howell threw 8 passes. Okay. Brett Rippon did not participate in 7-on-7, nor did Brosmer, and Rippon threw 5 passes in team drills. So the more I think about this, I think it's Howell or bust, and bust is you go outside the team and get somebody else.
The sack rate is a big problem for Sam Howell throughout the early stages of his NFL career. So the league average sack rate for quarterbacks is about 6.5% of your dropbacks. You take a sack. And his career sack rate is over 10%. So now he led the league in sacks taken, just volume of sacks taken in that full year as a starter 2 years ago in Washington. On a percentage basis, if you were to slot his career rate into last year, 39 qualified quarterbacks, and he would have been right in there with Caleb Williams and Will Levis as the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. Just for some context, so 10% is a terrible sack rate. Offensive line plays somewhat of a role there, but sacks are much more of a quarterback stat than people sometimes pin it all on the offensive line. But I can tell you, it's not like New Orleans has the best offensive line in the NFL. And Derek Carr, in the 10 games he played last year, 2.7% sack rate because he just gets rid of the football. Josh Allen, 2.8% sack rate. Jordan Love, Aiden O'Connell, Cooper Rush, all below 4% sack rates, quarterbacks who started at least 7 or 8 games. So Bo Nix was a rookie last year, only took sacks on 4.1% of dropbacks.
Yeah. So
being young doesn't have to mean that you take sacks. Like getting some of it's schematic too. Like there should be answers built in for the test that allow you to get the ball out. But that's the biggest thing to watch for Howell, and it's hard sometimes in practice because you're right. You can't tackle the quarterback. But you can see defensive players flashing and like throwing their arm up like that would have been a sack.
And that's my point is on 2 occasions, he literally didn't get the pass off. Like the play just broke down. And from the perch that I watched practice from, Phil, it was interesting, and Dex. It's intriguing because it's close enough that you see the speed. Like the amount of time that those guys have back there is nil. Like it's funny because if you're up in the press box at the bank or you're in the stands, it's like, oh, why didn't he do this and that? And that's also all about that internal thing in your head about when to shift and buy yourself time. Because we're talking about Sam Howell sometimes going against the second team and he can't be hit. And still there's no time. You do not have your progressions. When you watch it closer like this.
Oh, dude, it's
not, play one broke down.
There's so many things in sports. I mean, if you ever get a chance to be, low enough at a baseball game
Yeah.
and behind home plate enough to watch a pitcher throwing 98 miles an hour and then dropping a breaking ball that looks like a fastball out of his hand, and just how impossible that would be for a regular human being. Then you factor in like standing behind an offensive line in an NFL game, trying to see what's happening. Just like trying to, because a lot of these guys are like the shortest offensive linemen oftentimes are like 6'3", all the way up to 6'7" or 6'8", the Mekhi Bectons of the world. So just seeing what's happening while these guys are rushing at you, you have maybe 2.5, 3 seconds if the pass pro holds up. And then there's the timing and the layering of the throw with all the defensive backs back there. It is, and fans can start coming to practice. I think tomorrow is the first day where it's open to practice, and just like put yourself in the shoes of a quarterback, how talented you have to be to process, to see, to then throw with accuracy. Not just like get the ball out of your hand in a general area where they can catch it, but like put it in a spot where you can get yards after the catch. It's incredible.
There was that incredible commercial like 20 years ago when Mike Vick was like at his peak, and it was called the Mike Vick Experience, and I think it was a Nike commercial. Yeah. And they put him like in you enter into like a carnival ride, and they put like the roller coaster guards in there, and you get slapped as a quarterback, and they like you're like watching as and now you get to be Mike Vick, so it's a little bit different. But anytime you're that close, and US Bank, I believe, I don't know if anyone's topped it since more football stadiums have opened. I'm pretty sure it's the closest confines to the field. Like, especially if you are really close to one of the sides of either team, I believe it's the closest fans can be to the field than any other stadium in the NFL, which creates obviously that insane noise and home field advantage. But yeah, sometimes even if you're up in a press box at US Bank, which I haven't been in a long time, but Judd's there, and same thing at Target Field, the game looks a little slower and easier from up there. But my God, once you go down there, same thing at a baseball game. If you're right there, right above the dugout, you're like, oh my God, this is a completely different game from up here.
It's wild. 100%.
Couple more things.
Judd's camp notes.
Come on.
So our walk, as Phil knows, takes us through the center of the field across the way to our perch. And I made that walk while the offensive linemen were doing their individual drills on Thursday. And I'm going to tell you right now, Donovan Jackson and Will Fries are houses.
Dude, I was going to bring that up about Donovan Jackson. He's listed at 6'4", 315.
He's huge.
I think he's taller and bigger than that.
Well, first of all, his arms are, I mean, I can't even describe them. Like, I mean, I've got a decent sized normal human arm.
Arm yourself?
You're yoked. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not yoked. I'm just saying they're so fat. But anyway, his arms are, and yeah, he's absolutely yoked. But I mean, if you want to talk about, again, guards that can punish guys, those two look like guards that can punish guys. And I would not, and this is a total guess, okay? Because like in practice, I can't tell. But I would not be surprised if Donovan Jackson is really good.
Yeah, there was one rep that stood out, and again, it was like the first day of practice 2 days ago. It's indoors. It's not quite what it's going to be when you really get the pads cracking. But he got beat early on the rep by whoever I think it was one of the defensive tackles. I think they were going against the first team defense. So it might have been like Hargrave or Jonathan Allen. And he got beat initially off the rep and got kind of blown back. But the way that he dug his feet in and regained leverage, and Darrisaw's brilliant at this too, where he might actually get bull rushed initially, and then he's so athletic that he can kind of jump his feet back and keep that leverage point. It stood out. It was like, oh no, this is bad. He's getting beat. But he didn't. But he after a second and a half, he put his feet in the ground.
Yes. And
wound up winning the rep, and McCarthy got a completion off. And,
yes. And that's the
one example.
And that was the problem. The problem previously was especially like I go back to Bradbury at center. He'd get pushed back, but then he would topple over like a bowling pin.
He'd get walked back. Yeah.
Or like a bowling pin. Yeah, he'd get walked back. Jackson might lose the first portion of the rep, but he ain't going to lose the second. And Fries is a mammoth man. So I also saw a question asking about how Rondale Moore looks. I think he looks pretty good for a guy who we thought might start the training camp on the PUP and had a pretty severe knee injury with the Falcons in training camp last August. Mm-hmm. I think there's something there. And he was also one of nine guys working on the special teams portion of kickoff returns yesterday.
Wow. Yeah, that's
They had
that's
9
quite the
guys vying
Yeah,
for that.
he's a really. I mean, he missed all of last year with the knee injury that you mentioned, and in Arizona he showed some little flashes here and there, but that's a former second-round pick. You want to talk about Kwesi's propensity to buy a stock low or try and reclaim some value on first and second-round picks? It's been a long time now. It's been 7 years since his freshman season at Purdue, but he led the Big Ten in 2018 as a pretty diminutive, 5'8" on a good day, small wide receiver with 114 catches.
Oh, he was
almost
a stud.
1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
He was an All-American, and then he got hurt, I think, his sophomore year, and then the COVID year hits in 2020, and it kind of derailed everything. So I'm not saying he's ever going to revert back to the peak stock that he was, 6 or 7 years ago, but there's a guy in there, and he is one of the more fun stories to watch throughout the next month or so at training camp.
I also think that he is a guy, if O'Connell is going to change up his play calling, I also think he's a guy that could be used for creativity purposes, which we talked about when he signed. So he doesn't have to be a traditional guy, but like if he could return kicks and also be, it's probably not fair to say a gimmick guy, but on offense, if he could be, take a lateral and then take the ball, things like that. So I would not be surprised if he makes the roster and contributes. I would be equally not surprised if he doesn't make the 53. So that's where things stand with him.
Love it. We want more camp notes.
Football.
Well, you'll get more this weekend.
Okay.
You'll get more. Phil and I will be there today watching McCarthy, and then another practice. I believe it's the Welcome Back to Football Day on Saturday?
Is that what they're calling it?
When ESPN and
ESPN's going to be there.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be at TCO, but the NFL Network and ESPN tomorrow both have like studio shows, and then they throw it around the country.
So it's like
places.
NFL Red Zone channel for training camp practice or something?
Yeah, which is, I mean, I'm not going to complain. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Oh, yeah, but fans will be there. I do have we can do maybe like 5 or 8 minutes of Feedback Friday questions here because we did get a bunch. We're not going to be able to get to all of these. Maybe we can sprinkle these in over the next few days. So, yeah, what we're going to do is take in the practices today and tomorrow. If anything huge happens, we will jump in. Declan has vent line for tomorrow, but Judd and I are probably going to do the Sunday morning, maybe even just go live between like 9 and 10 o'clock on Sunday morning and do kind of a big gathering of camp notes. But a couple things, we'll get to a couple Feedback Friday things, but we've kind of mentioned and teased the State Fair. Mark your calendars. We would love to see as many of you Purple Daily and Score North listeners and viewers as possible. O-Line Committee is going to make its debut in front of a live audience, which could be great or terrible depending on our guy Booney.
Oh boy!
But it'll be must attend. So starting Thursday, August 21st at the Minnesota State Fair, we're still finalizing our schedule. But Purple Daily and other Score North shows are going to be live at the State Fair. It's the first time in like 6 years that we've been regular daily presence at the State Fair. So it'll be the weekdays of the State Fair, the 21st, the 22nd, and then the Monday through Friday of that next full week. And the window is going to be likely between noon and 3 o'clock from the Score North podcast stage, which if you're looking at the grandstand, it's like off the left edge of the grandstand across the street from Sweet Martha's Cookies. We'll have more information. We're going to put a web page up on scorenorth.com probably in like a week. But mark your calendars. Purple Daily and other Score North shows at the State Fair. O-Line Committee will be Monday, August 25th at 2 o'clock right now. And we're looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible.
We got
some
merch
live
too,
Judd's
right?
Camp Note. We got merch. And
Judd's
people
Camp Notes?
actually, somebody asked here about Judd's Camp Notes notebooks. Those will be we literally have Judd's Camp Notes notebooks will be available at the Minnesota State Fair at the Score North booth, and T-shirts and different things.
Yes.
So we're very much looking forward to it. Matt Metcalf sent this question in. If Judd's Glorious Camp Notes didn't have me on Cloud 9, can we get actual Camp Notes notebooks? Yes. Cord Benson chimes in here, says, camp notes are a disaster. I can do these from my basement. Pathetic. 3 exclamation points.
Whoa.
Figured me out.
Whoa.
In fact, I am doing them from my basement.
Do you go in your
guess.
basement?
Got
Like,
any
honestly,
more
do you ever
camp
go in your
notes,
basement?
Judd?
I used to, but I don't now. It's
I'm in my
storage
basement.
now. It's storage now. No, I used to a lot when we first moved here in 2000, but I've abandoned the basement now. I'm in my room here, which is a glorious mess, or in the living room.
Somebody wants to know, where did you get that the Met Stadium poster or whatever, the framed?
I got a at the old, it's gone now, the Field of Dreams store that Dave Mona, I think, ran in the Mall of America. It was in the, oh boy, was it the late 90s or so? And I actually saw one. I actually saw that one for a Twins game, which is a Twins Red Sox game in like 1971. And then a Vikings one that were for sale online for like a combined $350 or $400. I don't have the Vikings one. I've got a Met Stadium Vikings picture, but it's not that type of picture. So
Field of Dreams is a great little, terrible movie, but a great
movie.
store.
Great store. It was very, very expensive. That was the one thing. Like for cards, I thought it was excessively expensive. Not like Schindler's, which was just a bargain.
Yeah. Matt Delaney chimes in Feedback Friday here, feedback tab in the Score North app. Hey, Philly, how about putting your big boy pants on and adding some video clips of training camp? Well, Judd and I have both been taking some videos, mostly Judd, but they're all over Score North and Purple Daily social media. So you can find
and
Score
actually,
North Twitter and X for sure. They're all over the place.
And actually, that is perfect. So today, I believe that Phil can be in charge of posting videos from out there because AJ's off. Declan has twins. And so you can actually, and you've got like the slow-mo thing going for you and stuff. I
think that's my thing now. Slow motion handoffs from JJ McCarthy just to troll people.
It's actually pretty cool. So
handoff merchant. Yeah.
But yes, so you can be in charge of posting those.
I'm in.
For hashtag content today.
Levi Spagel says, hello, Score North friends. On Friday the 25th, which is today, it'll be mine and my wife's, my wife, 3-year wedding anniversary.
Congrats.
Let's go. We'll give you the skull horn for that one. But not only is it mine and her anniversary, it'll also be my 3-year anniversary with you guys on Purple Daily. Because while driving from Iowa to Colorado to get married 3 years ago, I discovered your show. And for 3 years now, I've tuned in for just about every episode. Thanks for the great content. And happy anniversary to us, Judd, Phil, Declan, and this Purple Daily listener.
Buried the lead.
Levi and Rachel. Happy
Congratulations. Congratulations. But yeah, like let's go with us first and then the wedding after that.
And we got married. Yeah, by the way.
Like, hey, happy anniversary to us and you guys.
Yeah. Who's really been a bigger part of your day-to-day life? Your wife or us?
Yep.
And it's probably pretty close. You've been listening for 3 years. Couple more here. Let's see. David R. says, been listening to Purple Daily since Mike Zimmer's last year coaching. I'm making a trip to Minnesota soon. Was planning to see Vikings training camp. Is the night practice on August 4th the best time to go, or should I try to find one of the day practices?
You know what's funny? I would actually say a day practice. I feel that night practice is very... It's more show. Like if you're a football fan, if you're a football guy or gal, I would always advise staying away from the night practice. The night practice feels more performative and for families and stuff. But like if you just want to see meat and potatoes, I'd go day. The only thing that's nice about the night practice is if it's hot as hell out, it's cooler by that practice. But I've never been as big a fan. I've found that to be more of a showman's thing than an actual practice.
It's not a football man's practice, is what you're saying.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not what they do on a daily basis. I would say this: if you can go to the joint practice,
the joint practice it's 2 days against the Patriots.
Glorious.
That's going to be amazing. I would rank them as joint practice against the Patriots 1. If you can pick a daytime padded practice.
Yes.
Padded. So like this Monday, there's a padded practice.
Good call.
And then any other daytime practice or the nighttime practice if you're just looking to kind of get a flavor. I mean, it's cool, like under the lights, whatever. Right? It's a cool vibe. Fireworks after. Let's do one more here from Doc, noted Kirk Cousins crusader here, trying to cope with some of our discussions of this Netflix series. Why would Mackie and Judd lie about Kirk for 6 years? Well, they're pretty low IQ, especially Judd, and don't understand how the world works, which the NFL is part of the world. Not only can you not stop talking about Kirk,
Judd,
you lie by omitting the truth about Kirk. Kirk had one of the strongest arms in Vikings history. He was always an excellent deep ball passer and fired footballs into tight pockets. Complete BS. You guys spew.
Couldn't agree more.
Doc.
You'll notice.
Couldn't agree more. Low IQ. I'm not even going to comment on that. I'm so low IQ. I don't know what it means.
You'll notice that none of those comments were about me, because I've always loved and praised Kirk Cousins.
I was going to say, you two have been the ones
Properly
who have
respected
been
him. Yeah.
crucifying him because I refuse to watch.
I just want to say two things. Number one, Kirk Cousins, one of the 17 or 18 best quarterbacks in the world over the last 10 years. That should be celebrated. And I'm happy to go to Great Clips later on this weekend to get my head shaved in honor of Kirk Cousins. You know, you can open up the Great Clips app and you can schedule your haircut 5 minutes. You walk in, you sit down, greatclips.com and the Great Clips app. That's right.
What a great,
Kirky
what a
boy.
great read. Pro bono. Great clips.
You like that? You like that?
Hey, kids, what's going on in the backyard here? Who wants to go to Great Clips? I've got the Great Clips app open right now on my phone. In fact, you can 3 taps and schedule your whole family for haircuts at Great Clips and greatclips.com.
So the folks that did that again, which I think is a combination of Netflix and the league itself, right? They must have signed off on, like Kirk must have said, if I'm going to be on here, I'm doing ads.
Kirk
I'm going
leveraged,
NASCAR.
I will do this, but I want to get paid by Great Clips. I want an endorsement within
Like,
this
what's
Netflix
that
series.
check, do you think? Because that is, it's timeless, first
It's at
of all.
least 6 figures.
Yeah.
I would say.
Probably.
Probably maybe 7 figures because it's Netflix.
Because you can't avoid it, too. So like, it's not like an ad where you fast forward through it back in the day. And the other thing, too, is it's on there forever now.
Yeah, they're not going to cut it out. I don't think. It's probably in the contract. So he should be celebrated. One of the 17, 18, maybe 19 best quarterbacks in the world the last 10 years. And one of the top 2 or 3 negotiating athletes in the world, too.
He's seriously one of the best businessmen athletes of all time.
Pay respect to the man, Kirk Cousins.
So, but my low IQ does not allow me.
That's
to
the wrong
understand
question. I didn't want to leave Minnesota.
God, dude, I
See,
keep seeing
you
it
see?
circulating. I keep seeing that circulating, and it just
He's
it
triggered.
makes me. I want to jump out the window. I want to shake him. I want to. God,
There are some of my my colleagues covering training camp who are very smart, who are let's just say wondering if the Sam Howell thing continues to go down the drain if Kirk is coming back.
And for the record,
I can't digest that right
as
now.
a QB2 making almost no money, sign me up. I'm in. Bring them back. Bring the whole family back. Presented by Great Clips. That's the Great Clips app, Judd, and greatclips.com/Kirk. Promo code Cousins.
Hey,
I was in on this
Yeah.
like a month or 2 ago, but after watching this,
I know. I can't.
I can't.
Oh, no,
I
you're
can't.
out.
I can't. Some people can live in harmony and be okay with their ex. This is not one of those situations. I don't want him anywhere near this team.
Okay.
Nope. Can't do it.
You better hope Sammy Howell starts connecting in training camp here in the
Slinging
next
Sammy.
couple weeks.
Yeah. Well,
the Jets, although I think the Justin Fields injury seemed like it was maybe overstated. Like he was being carted off, but they cart everyone off because they don't want you to walk, a mile to the locker room. But if that's a long-term injury and the Jets are open for business, I could see that as a possibility.
Oh my God.
I think he would probably. Well, yes, if he could start. So I think if he gets traded, I think his first thing is he wants to start.
Yeah.
If he finds that he can't get a starting job, could he sign off on a trade back here? Yeah, probably. Because then he would he'd weasel his way in, and then he'd act all great, and then privately be like, "Oh man, I should be the starting quarterback."
You guys need to give him more credit. You need to celebrate him and respect him the way that he deserves to be.
The last thing is, and I've seen some questions and comments about this. Christian Wilkins, released by the Raiders yesterday, but he's had an injury.
Yeah, seriously.
There's some people who are curious about if the Vikings would try to scoop him up. He's coming off a pretty serious, foot injury.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a debacle, so I don't think so.
They've already got, by the way, this is the danger, and they were in the mix on him. They made him an offer.
Very much so.
But when a guy hits free agency and he's in his prime and he's commanding top dollar and there's 5 teams involved, like, are you better off doing that or playing the fringes of the age cliff with Jonathan Allen, a year later, but Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave? I think the Vikings, maybe they lucked into the right move a year later, but I'd rather have the 30-year-old guys for less money, and it doesn't affect your comp pick formula. So they may have dodged a major bullet there in terms of if he's released and he signs for pennies somewhere. I don't know that there's Harrison Phillips. There's 3 dudes, really good high-end starters that aren't coming off. Well, there's 2 of them are coming off injuries, but not something like this where it's controversial. So
the only thing that intrigues me a little bit about this is Christian Wilkins was a B-flow guy, so that would be the only tie-in. But again, I think he's coming off a pretty significant injury here, so I don't even know where he's at playing wise.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see what obviously if someone gets hurt during camp, then it opens up a door and that could happen. So.
Yep.
All right. More Judd's camp notes throughout the next few weeks here. And if you haven't checked out Purple Access with Judd and Chip yesterday, and also the Doogie episode of Purple Daily where we dive into some of the injury stuff, all kinds of things on your Purple Daily feed. He's Judd. He's Dex. I'm Phil. And we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See you.